All right guys, we are back at the BlackOut garage. I had to split these videos up since I didn't realize I had to change the entire differential in the thing the first time, so it kind of killed all my time to get a walk around of the new shop, because the guys actually moved locations across the street to a bigger shop, more space, more area for the cars to work in, and then an even better office solution and storage area. So I'm gonna have Chris give me a walk around of the new BlackOut shop, and I'm also gonna do a walk around of the GT4586, which is right here. All right guys, so we're gonna do a walk around of the Gum-Out GT4586. So obviously we got the brand new rotoform ZMO-Ms, 18.9 -2 in the front, and then we got a bunch of concave in the rear, 1811 -22 in the rear, wrapped in Nittos. We did Nitto NTO1s in the front, a 245/40 18 in the front, and then a 275/40 18 in the rear. Knock on wood, obviously, but the motor has been great. All we had to do recently is just, or the whole time, is really just change oil, fuel filters, oil filters, and a couple sensors that went bad. But overall, this thing has really been phenomenal for us to drive. We actually had some teething issues, like we had the crank trigger pickup on the front of the flywheel, or I'm sorry, the front of the engine damper. So we had a trigger wheel in the front here with like a Hall fix sensor. On the side, it's actually still here. We're not using it anymore, but you can see it down there. Yeah, that's a sensor right there. So we had a trigger wheel right on the front here, and that thing was flexing because the engine damper just couldn't handle the extra added weight from the trigger wheel in the front. So we're having issues where it would come out of sync with the sensor and the car would basically just shut off. So what we actually had to do was eventually go back to how the engine runs from the factory, where it has the trigger pickup on the flywheel. So we had to get a custom flywheel made. We did have that done last year, and it fixed all the issues. The cars run better than ever, and it sounds actually better because the sync's better and everything just works a lot more properly. Go to the interior. So there's a couple things that we want to do this year: the seating position, the steering column, and the pedal box. Nothing really works for how tall I am. I want to have Dominic make a longer custom steering column that just fits the car. Like, look at the spacer we have, and it still doesn't fit right. The steering column doesn't come down far enough. It's already maxed out, and my knees are like super up against the steering wheel, and it's just too much. So that thing needs to get changed. And then the pedal box, I know it's kind of dark in here, but it's an OBP pedal box, works great. Drive-by-wire setup. And what should have happened is the floor should have been cut out a little further so the pedal box could be moved forward, and that was never done. So that makes my legs come back too far. I'm just super scrunched in here. The seating position is actually good where it's at. It's at about as far back as you can go with not much room left. So I want to get the floor pedals moved forward, a steering column in here that fits properly, and then that'll be like the last thing that I need for driver comfort in this thing. And then the other thing that we really want to do, well, first off, IlkFab did a phenomenal job on these headers. They came out really bitchin' and are really prominent in the engine bay. They look freaking cool. They both come down really symmetrical. And then they tee together here before they dump out on the sides. But the new setup we want to do is an 8-to-1 collector that just comes out. I don't even know where it would come out at the moment, but we want to do an 8-to-1 collector and see how the exhaust note should be a lot higher pitched like that, and we just want to see what it sounds like, because it's a little more throaty like right now, more like a street bike style, and the exhaust that you hear on like a 458 with one of those crazy $10,000 or $20,000 exhaust systems, they have a lot more high pitch to them, and it's kind of what we want to go for. So I'd love to change up the sound a little bit by doing an 8-to-1 collector. I'm wondering what they would sound like on the 458 motor, so we'll see. So we're also running nitrous on the car, about a 65 shot of nitrous, and we have the solenoid right here. Originally it was great, like everything, it made decent, you know, the thing makes decent power, it just doesn't have any torque. So we wanted to really hit the mid-range a little bit with just a little bit more power, so that could help get to its peak power at around 75 8,000 RPM, where it's like kind of making its peak torque and almost its peak power. So we just hit it with a little bit of spray. It's progressive, like a boost controller. So you can start it low. So we add about like 20 horse down low, and then it ramps up to about 65 horsepower shot around, I'd say around 7,000 RPM, and that helps wake the power band up in the mid-range. So you're not having to clutch kick the crap out of it all the time, and it's just a lot less abuse on the drivetrain, which works really well. Last year we did the Supra rear differential, new axles, new differential, new drive shaft. We did some stuff to the cooling system to make that, to help keep the engine a little cooler. So it's got external water pump, a big Mishimoto triple pass radiator. So the body kit is HGK, which is very similar to the Rocket Bunny stuff. They just made their fenders a little bit wider. So this is HGK, fiberglass. Most of their stuff is actually carbon Kevlar. And then this was all modified, so it looks sweet. The side skirts, we got new side skirts on here. These are actually the TRD, Toyota Racing side skirts for the 86. And then the rear is the HGK carbon Kevlar fenders as well. Rear bumper stock, custom diffuser. The front bumper is also HGK carbon Kevlar. I had a spare from the Pro car. The rest is set up. We're running BC Racing coilovers, big Brembo brakes in the front, Recaro SPG seats, an XL, and then a Skinny Boy. Nardi steering wheel, Nameless Performance handbrake. We're also running full Motec PDM on this thing, running their Motec M142 ECU, which is their direct injection ECU, and then a PDM 15, which handles all the chassis stuff. The wiring was done by Unicorn Garage, and everything worked great. The transmission we have is a 5-speed sequential. It works pretty good. We're still kind of working out the flat shift stuff on it. The sensors that are used on this trans aren't the greatest, so there's quite a bit of tuning that has to go on, and we just haven't had time to really do full-on adjustments with John Reed, who tunes the car. Here's the trunk of the car. We got a 10-gallon fuel-safe fuel cell, running a Deechworks fuel pressure regulator, fuel filter. Got a little battery over here, vibrant catch can in a corner. Mishimoto 10-inch race fans. These each pull 2,800 CFM a piece, which is sweet. Keeps this thing nice and cool. And then we're running a Toyota electric power steering pump from an MR2. These are now getting pretty hard to find. It's hard to see in the corner there. Here's the filler for it. But it has a nice adjustment screw on the bottom, so you can get your feel. You can decrease or increase pressure if you want. And it works pretty sweet. Front and rear, we're running BC Racing coilovers, and then the WiseFab steering kit, front and rear, for the 86. Which you can see, full knuckle, A-arm, rack, tie rod, everything. And then we're running a stock 5x100 front hubs from the 86 in this thing. And then the rear, we run a bigger 300ZX twin turbo hub that has a 32 spline count. So you can run the bigger CV joint that Drive Shaft Shop makes. So this thing is pretty unbreakable. And what we found during drag racing is the half shafts in the twin turbo super rear end are what's going to break first. And that's why I had to change that whole differential out last time I was here. Maintenance wise, we've had to, besides the normal stuff like fuel filter, oil change, all that, there hasn't really been too much else we've had to do. John Reed's gone and tuned this thing a couple times. He tuned it remotely for the first couple times, and then eventually it passed through Oregon where he tuned it in person and really got a lot more power out of the thing, and it's been super solid since then. And then just normal maintenance on like the drivetrain components. The suspension's been great from BC Racing. So honestly, this thing, besides nut and bolt and oil changes and adding fuel to it, has been pretty solid so far. All right, that is it for the GT4586. Thank you guys for watching. Now we're gonna do a little tour of this brand new BlackOut garage. It's time for the BlackOut tour. The guys moved shops, which you guys have seen on the BlackOut garage episodes. I've been down here quite a bit. and just haven't done a new shop tour. So I'm gonna meet up with Chris and he's just gonna kind of give me a walk around.
So yeah, you've been down a couple times and did a little shoot with the car. So we got the whole double wide lift down.
So this is where the Ferrari car lives, on a 4-post over here. And then this whole thing moves up, and then Chris's 2 cars, which are currently outside, live underneeth here.
Yeah, so
6, so
4 cars in the space of 2.
Ton of
lot of floor space
floor
back
space.
with this lift. And so,
Yeah.
yeah, it's we're a little packed right now because it's down and doing the shoot with the Ferrari.
Yeah.
And but yeah, coming over here to the little store, which is one of my favorite parts. Everybody comes in, just geeks out on it because we're like,
This is so sick.
like this is you know, exactly what you would want in an auto parts store in your own shop. It's all the product that we use, all the brands that we work with, so why not have them all on display so we can just pull it off the shelf. You can see which one we use the most. A lot of parts cleaner.
Yeah, I'm gonna take some more home with me because running out a little bit.
Yeah.
Put those aside.
We got this C6 chassis that we're gonna do a pretty wild build with. You know, see what we can do for shoving a power plant in there. So yeah, you know.
I already know what it is, but you guys don't know yet.
I'll tell you what it's not gonna be, and that's an LS.
Yeah, that's
Never
an
owned
LS.
one, and I don't plan on it.
There's definitely not an LS going in the Corvette.
Yeah. We got the Pro car. Thing is, it's ready to go, dude. Yeah, it's
Yeah, I
all
like what you
packed
did
in
back
back.
here.
Redid everything to get a little better weight distribution.
Look at
get
it all,
more,
dude.
Yeah,
Boom,
just boom, boom, boom,
boom, boom, boom, boom.
Yeah, everything
Done.
within an inch.
Done.
The big change for this year was relocating everything in the back and also doing some chassis work, getting the bigger transmission tunnel so we have more room to work on it. Also catering to the new scatter shield rules that we have now for this
the
year.
SFI bell housing that we have.
Yeah, and so, well, they don't make one for the Holland.
Right.
So I had to do a custom scatter shield, which was a real pain.
Yeah.
But so yeah, blowing out that transmission tunnel, having more room for that made it nice. Blew the rear
Awesome,
quarters
dude.
off because we're gonna go wide this year. So
What?
I got some, yeah, I got some
Something
big,
new coming?
some big boys coming out that we're gonna try.
Oh,
So do a
shit.
little wider stance, see if that helps with our side load. You know, being
Right
able to
on,
transfer it
right
harder.
on.
So yeah, a couple little things that we're gonna do. We got the turbos out front now, and you know, so we got the Garrett G25. So you had the G42. Dylan's gonna try out the G35, and this is the pair of G25s, which are 660 each. So that's 1320 is what
Yeah.
they add up to. These things have done 1160 to the ground in a GTR. So that's like 1200 plus to the ground in a rear-wheel drive car. So they're nuts.
Freaking nuts.
Yeah. And,
Seriously.
yeah, we've been slowly turning them up. I don't even know what power this thing makes now. It's got to be up in the 950 to 1000.
Yeah. On, what do you think for boost pressure?
Oh, we're running like 26 pounds.
Okay.
We started at like
That's
20.
still not even that much. We've been running 32 PSI on our Garrett G42-1200. We made 1016 at the wheels.
Yeah.
No nitrous.
Yeah. Yeah, so we're
So
running,
this
yeah.
thing is running pretty conservative considering for the amount of power it's
She's
making.
barely breathing out there.
So the old shop is actually only across the street. I can see it through the window over here.
And so this square is the exact same size as the old one.
The workspace square.
Yeah, so this is
everything you
yeah,
see in
50 foot
here
room,
is all the same
50
as...
by 50, but what we gained is going back here is this little fab room. So all of this, well, not all of it,
Boom,
'cause
look at this.
we added more equipment, but this was all kind of in this room as well,
Yeah.
across the street. And so we have a lot more overhead storage space, and we have some more equipment. We built this sweet little...
Ooh, I like your metal rack.
Yeah, right? So we got
Yeah.
all of our little scraps up top, steel
Yeah.
and aluminum. And then we
Tight.
did 3 racks here, so we got steel, stainless, and aluminum.
Nice.
Because we got our new right CNC table, and so we need to get some more sheet. We had to put it somewhere. So we got this thing
shit
set
out
up.
on this for sure.
Yeah, we've been building some stuff, testing out some stuff, and building some handbrake adapter mounts. That's what that plate was. And then I'm doing some test cuts on stainless. That's our first cuts doing stainless. And that was this piece right here. It's a diff shim that we're working on.
That's what it looked like to me.
Yeah. Been playing around with other designs, doing like, this is like a AEM dash panel mount, like what you saw in my car. And then I did a Motec one and whipped one up for you last week.
I know, dude.
And but
you
yeah,
guys will see that in a second. We got that footage.
shit, mine. Hey, clean her up and see if it fits. You like the wear wheel? Yeah, dude, look at that.
That's it, man.
Mine's right up. I threw it in the brake real quick. Those little relief cuts.
Bend in there. Thanks, bro.
Yeah, you got it, dog.
Do the elbow bang,
elbows,
boom.
elbows. There, that's for you. I'll keep this.
Yo, see, you come down to BlackOut, you walk away with new parts. I love this. You got a nice mill.
Yep.
Slash drill press. This is freaking sweet for using as a drill press.
Yeah. So this is Dylan's dad's. He brought down some of his equipment, like this mill. He brought down these sanders, which are awesome. The Tuerck'ing, and then the big old 20-inch. Yeah. We use this jet every day. Well, we use all this stuff every day.
Right.
And then
this is just hooked up right to the bandsaw, which is good mint.
Just keep that guy right in place.
Horizontal. Tubing bender over here.
Yeah, that guy's been getting busy.
And this thing is on wheels, like it should be.
You can bring it right out to where you're working with the cage. Yeah,
and then you got the swag kit. I got the swag kit. I learn everything from Chris mainly, so I always take notes from him. I'm not.
Don knows what he's doing. I learn everything from Don. So it's just going full circle.
It's a cycle.
Yeah. And so the rest of the place is actually pretty rad. Like we get some good storage out of here. So we got an extra room here that we're building now. This is going to become some more storage potentially.
Yeah, this just got painted, huh?
Yeah, just painted. Like it's just been kind of packed full of crap, and so we're finally getting that place set up. So we're moving on to the rest of the rooms. This one's still packed full of crap, so we're still working on getting that one cleaned out. One room at a time.
Random stuff in there.
Yeah.
Fast orange sink set up right here.
So just right.
That's all set up, right? Yep. Oh yeah. That's all plumbed up.
This baby works.
Yeah,
that's
man.
Right. And keep this back by that fat truck. We got a sweet dirt bike for you.
Yo, this is my steez
like
right here.
Yeah.
Boom.
Yeah, this is like all of our
parts, all of our
inventory.
Shit.
This is like every car kid's dream closet, right?
Yo.
So we got our spare coilovers, like here's the ones like out of the box, we can play with them. We got like these are ones that we're gonna take testing, so keeping these different spring rates we're gonna take testing. It might look like a mess, but to me it's very well organized. I like to see it. I like to not have it all in bins.
You stock the shelf, so you know where all this stuff is.
Oh yeah. And then like these bins, when I say I don't like to put things in bins, but like these are all like rubber hoses, and this is a bin full of silicone couplers. Some of them are used and some of them are brand new, so same thing, like throw the used ones back in the bin so you can use them for mock-up, and then put the new ones on when you're actually ready to go. And so like old race hoses, so we go through these and these either use them for like test fitting, or we might even pull good fittings out. Like, that's a good hose. That'll go right back on a car. This is our kitchen area, which is rad. This is the painting that we're doing, so don't mind that. But yeah, got a nice little kitchen area, fridge, microwave, coffee, all that stuff. And so it makes it nice and homely when we're hanging out here all day, all night. Nice little conference room area. We got to get your ugly mug hung up back there.
Yo,
there he is.
Dude, look at that picture, dude.
Chill area here. We got our couches and our things set up. And
we got the ladies. We got the sheet shed over here. This is the essential Forsberg sign. Play like a champion.
That's right, man. Anything worth doing, do it right all the way. So here we are, back square one.
That's it, boys.
Yep.
That is it. The brand new blackout shot. Well, since January, you said.
It's about January. 3 months now.
Yeah.
So I'd say it's pretty whipped into shape.
Chris has been smoking a bunch of content on his YouTube channel.
That's right.
If you guys haven't seen that, check it out.
So yeah, the new show, we were calling it Force Power.
Yeah, I know.
It feels good. So it feels right. I had to throw like some sort of name on there. And
he has a bunch of solid technical content coming out of everything he's been doing to the Pro Car lately.
Yeah, we did like a bunch of cool stuff. All the steps along the way of finishing the Pro Car, and then now like work on Dylan's car and other projects we got. So yeah, just a lot of hands-on tech type stuff. So yeah, check her out.
You'll learn a ton about the Pro Cars, more than what I can explain to you anyway. This is Dylan's new FD car. The thing looks frickin' sick. It's got the engine harness from Unicorn Garage, kind of the last piece of the puzzle, right?
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Hopefully running tomorrow, which is nuts. I can't wait.
Hell yeah, dude. So you built this frickin' insane Formula Drift car, dude.
Too bad we're not going drifting for a while.
Not for a little while, but I mean, this weekend would be Long Beach, and your car, you're putting a new engine harness in it right now.
Yeah.
Well, chassis/engine harness.
Chassis/engine, and it hasn't had a wiring harness in it before, so kind of the whole virus and everything has slowed down a lot of what we need to get.
Of course, yeah. Along with everybody in the world. So obviously, race car stuff is going slower too.
Going a little slower, which is fine. So, I was being patient with Brian. We're waiting on parts, all sorts of stuff. So
Unicorn Garage, who is also my crew chief. He also does mil-spec wiring. Really nice wiring harnesses. Everything is super proper, professionally done, and that's his main business. Anyway, he did Dylan's engine and chassis harness, which is what? So you did the Link ECU in the PDM 30 or the 15?
It's a 15.
PDM 15 Motec for the for the chassis stuff.
Yeah, so we did, the Link Thunder ECU. We kind of got familiar with them when we did the 2JZ NASCAR. We put a Fury on that one, and that thing is unbelievably fast and runs really well. So
with a 2J.
With a 2J, of course. Same compression as yours, 9-to-1. We got the JE pistons, we got the Crowder rods, we got the Crowder cams, Garrett turbo, just like you've been running.
And you said 3 liter, right?
It's a 3 liter, it's a stock crank. I couldn't.
Which we started running 3 liter 2018. Deciding to step away from the stroker, mainly because it's a little faster to rebuild engines in case you do have an issue, so you don't have to do an extra process of machining to clearance the walls on the inner part of the block to make room for the stroker crank, because obviously it has a longer throw on it.
Yeah, so the crank kind of travels around in a bigger arc. That also means you can't run as many RPM.
This is Dylan's dad, Chris. He's massively involved with the program and has been helping Dylan build this car from scratch. Freaking killer job, because this thing looks ridiculous.
Yeah, thank you, man.
So Dylan does all of his own fabrication, welding. Basically, the only thing you didn't do on this car was pretty much the wiring. Yep. You didn't build the body panels or anything, but you installed them like you know.
Everything that had to do with welding. There's not one other person that laid one stitch of bead on this thing except for me. So all the
you see this? You see these welds?
Yeah,
that's all Dylan.
But yeah, dude, unbelievably proud of this car, and I'm like, that's why we're thrashing on it right now. We're just chomping at the bit to get this thing started up. All M suspension on it, Parshot Max suspension, BC Racing coilovers, 4-speed dog box trans, Winners quick change with the drive shaft shop, drive shaft and axles. The OCD Works CNC ported head, just like yours is. Brian Crowder, JE pistons with the cams. Turbo by Garrett. We got a Doc Race exhaust manifold on there.
You got the Rad Dan bits on
Rad Dan billet bits, of course. Yeah, of course.
Super nice.
Yeah, man. And
Mishimoto intercooler.
Yep. Mishimoto
rear mounted radiator. Oh, this intake manifold is beautiful.
Yeah, man. So I really wanted to go with an electric power steering setup, and that basically just means that we can run one belt on the motor, and that is only for the alternator.
Boom.
So no dry sump, which would be cool. We'll probably do that next year, just because budget was tight. And then we just got an MR2 power steering pump, which Chris has had massive success with over the past couple years. So that's mounted underneath the back, as well as the water pump. So we got one belt on the front. So hopefully you don't have to worry about that sumbitch falling off.
That's proper. That is very proper.
Yeah. Advan Racing Yokohama wheels. They use the RGD2s. Super fresh looking. I love them. 6-spoke. On the Street Fighter LA body kit, which we ran last year. It's looking pretty proper.
Your custom cage that you put in this baby.
Yes, sir.
Look at this thing. Looks freaking so nice.
I do all the tube bending. You know, my typical style, stitch welded to the A-pillar.
Right to the pillar. Yep.
Nice and clean on the main hoop. Ended up going with a bulkhead on the firewall on this one.
And then the firewall came out really great too. Back of the car business.
Back of the car biz.
All radium parts. I love it.
All radium parts. This is their brand new fuel cell. So the gas tank wasn't even available when I started building this car, and they were even nice enough to send out the structure we were just talking about. So it was like, all right, sick. Like I can basically just mount this thing, send the car to paint before I even had the gas tank, and then it just dropped right in, fit absolutely perfect, which was really impressive for me. The radium fuel filter, and then we have the we're gonna be running ethanol. So this is the Link ECU ethanol content sensor. Nitrous, because we like to go fast.
Yeah, baby.
So I decided that, and I really still wanted to run a back window because I like the way it looks, but that means that there's no way to get air to the Mishimoto radiator, right? So I came up with this. These are basically, it's got 1/8" holes drilled in it. This thing is going to be able to breathe. So as soon as we chuck this car sideways, there's going to be air being forced through there. So that's going to feed the radiator. It's going to help keep some of the smoke out of it. And then that means I still got to get the nitrous bottle and the cool suit out. So this is what we came up with. It's just basically like a little clip-in piece. Boom.
Boom. That's it.
And
all right,
we can
take
put
her off.
stickers
Take
on
her
it.
off.
Yeah. All right. So you just give her like a little bit of a pull right here. Still got to work on the alignment a little bit.
I mean, that's fast enough to swap out a bottle or add more ice to the cool suit.
Yeah.
Like those are all break time stuff. Well, not the NOS, but you know what I mean.
Yeah. You know, 2 laps, tires and fuel.
Yeah.
You know, and depending on how much nitrous you got, you might got to do nitrous as well. But yeah, super proud of this, and just like all the little meticulous stuff that is just laying in bed at night, can't stop thinking about it. That's one of those things right there. It took me forever to think of that, but I'm pretty proud of it.
Yeah, this thing actually has not run yet. Dylan's been working on it like a freaking maniac, making it absolutely perfect for the last 6 months, and he just got the chassis and engine harness today from Unicorn Garage, so they are, you guys are
crashing. I want to start this thing like tomorrow.
Yeah.
Tomorrow.
Yeah, don't do it tonight.
Dude.
Don't rush tonight.
No.
Do it tomorrow.
No. But yeah, man, it should be wicked. We got a 3.5-inch titanium exhaust on it that I made for it from Taiwan.
Oh yeah, the underside. That's where a lot of the external water pump is, the power steering pump, and obviously the freaking sick exhaust that you made.
Really stoked on this thing. Like I said, can't wait to hear it. I'm gonna keep doing some wiring.
Awesome work, dude.
Thank you, brother. I appreciate it.
I give you a high five, but we're supposed to stay 6 feet apart.
more thing.
What's up?
Dylan, tell me, what is the competition record between you guys in FD?
The competition.
Damn, dude, just a low blow right off the bat.
1-0. 1-0. Oh, here we go. Late birthday gift. Just don't blow on all of them. Only one of them.
Just the one can. This is for me. Fires up.
Light us up, brother.
Yeah.
All right, happy
Birthday cheers.
Happy 34.
4.
Yeah, you're 34.
I'm 34. Okay. That's
I'm
great.
32.
That's good.
Yeah, baby. We're keeping it young. We're keeping it young around here.
Tanner's 82.
Tanner's 82. All right.
Cheers, man.
Boom.
Right.
Impressive lung capacity.
That's right.